We do have a shade. Now we're on September.
Suddenly there's again, sure, there is go to the next.
Background.
Okay. I don't know if that's gonna do it or not.
That's better. He moved seats. Now it's better.
Wow. So where are we now? So that we're going to see. We'll hear you, bye.
Okay. All right, so I am gonna call the Village of Trumansburg Planning Board regular meeting for August 27th to order. And we'll start off by having a roll call. Start with Mark.
Mark DeVocatus, planning board member.
Sarah Kennedy, planning board member.
Rick Geiger, Planning Board Chair.
Jessica Giles, Village Clerk Treasurer.
Michelle Matroni, planning board member.
Jimmy Lynch, planning board member.
Okay, so after that, we've got some minutes to approve. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes of the July meeting?
Yes.
Any additions or corrections? Okay, can I have a motion to approve those?
I'll move to approve.
Second,
I'll second.
okay, all in
There.
favor?
Not gonna be meeting on that.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, all right, so the minutes are all set. Okay, so first order of business tonight is we're going to open up a public hearing in connection with the site plan review that's going on at 1 East Main Street. And this is for in relation to a revision that we discussed at the last meeting that has to do with expanded deck area and some changes to the upper patio at the site at 1 East Main Street. What we do at this point is we pause our planning board meeting and officially open up the public hearing. So we need a motion to do that. Could someone move to open the public hearing for 1 East Main?
I will motion to open the public hearing.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion, questions? None?
I mean, if there are the folks online want to comment, if they could use the raise hand feature, which should be in your React thing at the bottom toolbar, then you'll see.
Perfect. Okay, all in favor of opening the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the public hearing is now officially open. Have we received any written comments?
We have not.
That's good. And is there anyone online?
There's two folks online.
Okay. Is there anyone online who would like to ask a question or make a comment regarding the proposed revisions that were discussed at the last meeting?
If so, use the raise hand feature, I believe, as was
Right.
previously.
If not, that's fine. Okay, I'm not seeing any kind of signal that anyone has any comments or questions.
Is there any way for them to communicate with us other than doing that raise hand feature? Like, would we know if they were having trouble finding that? Or would that be just,
But I am checking my email in case we, but no, they could talk in the chat. To
the chat, they can? Okay. I was just curious, like, if they had some other capability.
Okay, we'll give this another few seconds and in case someone is having technical difficulties. And if those technical difficulties are preventing any kind of comment, we'll continue to take written comments for another 2 days after this meeting, if that's all right. So there's no members of the public present other than the applicant. Phil, would you like to add anything to, what you've already explained to us?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Of course, if you have any questions, I'm here and happy to answer whatever I can.
All right, I'm not seeing any comment from the board, which you're welcome to do, you're members of the public as well.
We also have a discussion after the public hearing.
We will, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Okay, so there being no comments from online sources that are available or no one present today, I'll ask for a motion that we close this portion of the public hearing, but keep it open for purposes of receiving any written comments for another 2 days. Okay. Okay, is there a motion? Can I have a motion to that effect?
I'll move that
Okay.
we leave it open for 2 more days.
I'll second, but.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so now we've had the public hearing, at least the part that isn't still open. So we now go to planning board discussion of the proposed revisions to the existing site plan. I won't go through the way we got to this point and how we've been handling this particular application. But it's been fluid intentionally so that we can accommodate the needs of the building process and the design process. But also still make sure that we have ample opportunity for input from the board and also from the public as to what is actually being done. And if there are material changes being made to the original plans, then we've just asked for additional, reopening of the site plan and submission of additional materials in support of that. So with that, you've all had this for a month now to think about, look at, and try to absorb. Are there any thoughts or questions for Phil?
I'm curious what came of zoning discussion around the. Are we discussing right now both? Are we not talking about the super shed now? Are we talking about both the super shed and the patio type?
No,
Or is it-
I don't-
so-
the super shed's been in there from day one.
No, the additional,
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay.
the Super shed.
the,
It's a
What was it?
multi. Yeah, we added a multi-purpose outbuilding.
so this is all, okay,
Is that the-
so I'm curious whether whether there was zoning discussion of that since our last meeting.
Yeah, Mike, Mike has looked at it and it does meet the setback requirements, so no additional zoning action was needed.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, I think we talked about it briefly last time. I think just 2 things that one is we talked briefly about the overhang of the I guess like downstairs patio over the creek, right? And we talked about how you're already in discussion with the DEC and Army Corps. And so did they issue a permit?
So we originally had a permit from the Army Corps. It wasn't we checked with the DEC. It wasn't necessary.
Okay.
The Army Corps, we did reach out to after our last meeting, and they're ready for us to close the permit. And we're only interested in the sediment that was either taken out or going into the creek.
Okay, so they don't have any issue with the overhang.
No, my understanding is that they do have the discretion to have a say in that, but I think it's predominantly for bridges, piers, jetties, that type of thing.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that was clear. Thank you. And then the only other concern I brought up last time was the super shed or the multi-purpose outbuilding. I wanted to confirm that will be utilized only during events where the parking lot will not have moving vehicles in it. And the reason why I raised that concern was because if it was open during an everyday situation when customers are coming in and out of the parking lot and people are also standing at the like service window, there could be a conflict between pedestrians and vehicles. So I just wanted to confirm like the intended use of that building, when it's going to be used, or maybe how future vendors might mitigate those conflicts.
Yeah, so I guess depending on what it would be used for, with the multi-purpose, if it's storage, you know, or some of these things. The intent really was that if it was used for some type of event, or the parking lot was converted into a large tent space, that in the plan, it depicts basically an entrance gate, 2 stone pillars that would be able to shut off the entire parking lot for that type of situation.
Good.
So the decision that we make as the planning board, would that, I mean, does that prohibit the use of that building for like a 24/7 year-round food service situation? Like, I mean, I guess I mean, to your question, if someone was like, I want to have a little coffee shop in there or something, like, would we be permitting it to be used at all times, or is it really tied to that special event use case? I don't know.
I think it'd be allowed to be used any way that would be appropriate in the zoning for, you know, for a use in that, what is that? Is that a residential zone? Or is that a commercial zone? Whatever the zone is, but I believe it's a commercial zone. And so anything that would be okay as a use in there would be okay, you know, under the terms of this, unless we decide we would like to restrict it to the things that don't involve, you know, traffic as a part of the essence of what it's being used for, like drive-through type coffee space or something like that. We can always put conditions on the terms of the site plan. So are we concerned about that?
I mean, it's interesting that, to me, it's interesting that it was originally 2 and now it's 1, right? 2 businesses was the original intention, and now we're talking about just a single, right?
It's a single occupancy of the
Single
main
occupancy,
building.
that sort of changes egress. Yeah, I kind of understand all that, and then also adding this, it makes it seem like it's moving in a direction, right? For me, it's like, it keeps sort of sounding like, oh, this really is like event space kind of situation. So I don't know I know that there's nothing really concrete to talk about in that, but it's just like what's on my mind when I sort of see the changes. And I don't know about, I haven't really looked into the zoning in too much detail. I know it's changed all recently too, but that's.
Yeah, I think the inspiration or intent behind the outbuilding was, one, there's a limited amount of restrooms on the main floor for the size of some type of event or structure, or if you had an outdoor situation going on like Winterfest or some of these different things, you'd be able to have a restroom out there. So that's the one piece of it. And that's why it has its own exterior door and it's not connected to the interior of the building. And then the finish of the interior of the building, there's no, you know, drive-up window or walk-in window. It's a full-size piece of glass, 1 pane that's similar to the front of the main building, that could create that space to either be storage or it could be indoor-outdoor space. And I think the finish intent is to have a concrete floor with drainage in the main space that is a little more, you know, commercially acceptable, but also have some pocket space where if someone wanted to do a pop-up, you know, serving of vendor situation on some sort of temporary level, that you would have the ability to do that. Again, there is no tenant at this point, and so it really lends itself to a lot of opportunities for different things.
I will point out one additional thing, with respect to changes in buildings and construction. The site plan, our authority, our jurisdiction, extends to any construction, reconstruction, rehabilitation, and maybe some other word, in connection with commercial or business, enterprises. That wouldn't apply to like a house. But if that shed needs to be reconstructed in any way or rehabilitated in any way to change the use, that would trigger the need for an additional site plan review for that building. And we've had situations here, in fact, Gimme was one, where there was, they did some reconstruction of an area there, that, triggered a site plan review, so.
Yeah, I would find it hard. I mean, if there are some direct concerns, we could certainly talk about it and try to work through them. I think it would be difficult for it to be some sort of drive-through situation based on the way the parking lot is configured and how you would, it's not really the ability to turn around in a loop in the parking lot itself.
I think, I mean, Jimmy, if I'm understanding your concern correctly, it's more like if there was a line of customers or so like coming out the front that
Right.
is then infringing on the, like at a time when people are also coming in and out to park, but maybe that's addressable with fencing or some kind of roped off area. Am I correctly
Yeah,
understanding?
exactly. Just
I don't-
because the front of that building, it's on the very last page, front elevation, that's the face that it's facing like the parking lot, and it's just right next to, without any setback from the driveway to the park. So that's what I was thinking. If someone's coming around that curve, just making sure that pedestrians are safe, so.
Yeah, it has a concrete pad that would be in front of the overhead doors. And we'd have some sort of, there's an overhang as well for water above those doors. And then we'll have something so that, a truck couldn't take out the overhang or give some safety space up, whether it's a bollard or, something that protects the front
Oh, yeah, I see.
of the building. Yeah. But I think the intent was to keep it on the parking lot more so for it's a very tight space. So there's not a lot of
Yeah.
options on how to locate it and still have the appropriate ingress and egress for fire safety and all these things. So it's pretty well landlocked there. It's pretty difficult to do a lot of different things in order to maybe accomplish more safety. And so the intent was really to cut off the entire parking lot if you were going to utilize that for some sort of, customer-centric situation. Otherwise, it could be used, there's a lot of outdoor space, so you have a lot of outdoor furniture that needs to be stored. It could be landscaping things. So I'm not sure if it would really be an actual, that's why we nicknamed it the super shed, because so it could be a vendor space. It could be transformed into something on a temporary basis. I'd find it hard to believe that it would be something more permanent based on the way that we're constructing it and how it's kind of situated. Because the parking is very, very important, just downtown in general. There's also been recently, as of today, some conversation about how the parking should go on the street side, because we have, yeah. So in conversation, and if you want, I don't want to steal time or bring up something different if I'm, okay.
So you mean? Well, it's on both. Oh, it should be moved over.
Yes, so next to us in the conservatory, the street is too narrow for double-sided parking. And working with our neighbors, we find that the parking would be better suited on the conservatory side once you pass our entrance. Because that way it doesn't block the driveway of the residents that would be pulling out from the creek side. And there's actually an additional 2 parking spots if we go on that side.
If you're going
To the cons-
more.
Yeah, so on the conservatory side of the street, if that had the street parking and then we had no parking on the one Main Street side, we would get additional parking spots and it would be safer for everybody can see around those cars from accidents.
That's gonna make a lot of people happy, because I've had a couple of community members come up to me about that exact issue.
Yeah.
Will it make it safer for people coming down Congress to that intersection?
Yeah.
Cause I mean, I'm just imagining like the view would be more blocked potentially.
Well, yeah, when we looked at it today, and I think if you walk it, you can kind of see where you just have to have the stopping point of the parking for the curve
Right.
is a pretty gradual curve.
Yeah.
And,
I
you
mean,
know,
there's pretty good, you can pretty much see down there pretty well as it is right now, obviously.
Yeah.
but the residents pulling out of their driveway, turning left would have a big blind spot if a car is parked there.
No doubt.
And you're
Yeah,
gonna
that would
see an
definitely be
accident.
a problem.
And then you also have the same situation for the street on that side that's right above their driveway that turns left.
How come right now on that, the conservatory side, I can see that there's like no parking temporary police order. Is that because of construction going on?
You know,
Like,
I'm not sure who put those up originally. I know that the village did. They've left them up because of that situation, I'm sure, whether they originated that or they originated with the conservatory situation.
They did this. Well,
Yeah, Jessica and I were just looking at each other because actually the trustees passed an ordinance, an amendment to the traffic ordinance that made that part not part.
Well, I think they got the wrong side of the street.
okay.
So it's just.
Technically both.
Well, one side can accommodate cars, and of course, parking is a real problem there. If it's re-looked at, you'll find that the conservatory side, you have, relatively 5 parking spaces available that is plenty for 2-way traffic, and it doesn't create a safety concern. The way that it's positioned now, there is parking on the one side, or at least people are parking on the one side. But whatever works for the village, I guess is just the residents and myself and, as of this morning, walking the site and taking a look at the driveways and the entrances, it just seemed to kind of all click and we all mutually agreed that would be great for everybody.
And so also,
Go ahead.
last time you said that you were in conversation or were going to be with the neighbors also, did they have any major feedback on this that?
No,
Fair.
Jonathan and Raina were on board with the changes and happy with the changes.
And I was just, the people I've talked to, they just were concerned about having parking on 2 sides, because people are having trouble.
Yeah, I can't do it on 2 sides because it
Yeah.
takes it down to a 1-lane situation. They have just blocked the parking on the conservatory side and people are parking on the, our side. And it's just, there's additional spots and it would be safer switching it around.
I'm gonna keep trying to drive, not to create more traffic, but I just like to get a better feel of like what people are experiencing.
I have a really good idea.
You do.
Yeah, you walk it daily. And also Jonathan is now on the town planning board. So, I mean, I would reach out to him. Obviously, he's right there too and get his opinion.
I thought you had a really good idea.
Yeah, you
You
gonna share it?
I'll leave it hanging.
Oh, no. No, I have a really good, I have a really good view of what.
Oh. Sorry,
You had the solution.
I go by that a few times a day.
We meet on site on occasion, walking through. Yeah.
Walk through it, I drive through it.
Yeah.
Let's turn Old Main up the hill into a parking.
Yeah. The last meeting we have for this project, we can do it on site.
Just a point of order, because I really love filing new laws. If you want to change the parking on Union Street, it has to be a board of trustees law.
Right.
So connecting with the police commissioner, Joanna Haynes, or the mayor directly. Baked idea as a citizen. There you go.
So after everything that was just said, does anyone share the concern about conflicts between pedestrians and vehicles? And if the concern is shared, do we need to put any caveats or I forget what you call them. Conditions on our site plan approval if that's the direction that we go in
Well,
For the super shed you're talking
for the
about.
super shed.
do you have an idea about something that could change that? I mean, what,
Beyond restricting it to events.
yeah, well, no, I mean, that's one way to do it. To restrict it to event support, or something like that.
I mean, this might not be possible due to, fire access and turning radii and everything else like that, but potentially a material change like a 5-foot sidewalk that runs along the driveway to the parking lot and wraps around the front of the super shed to delineate that space as pedestrian only. I mean, you talk about maybe.
Yeah, we were gonna do a concrete separation pad. The intent though is that you could drive things in and out of it,
Right.
of course, so it's like a shed
Yeah,
or storage. The only factor that you have there is the garbage removal. So the shed is positioned on the opposite side
The opposite side, right?
of the
across from-
dumpster, and you just have to allow access for the garbage
yeah.
to be removed, which is, it's already pretty tight there in that situation. But our intent is to have protection and bollards, and the overhang of the building and have space, I would assume at least 5 feet,
Okay.
of protection off of the building.
If you had bollards on a way to approach the building from tight on either side of it without having to walk up the driveway, that would be great.
And they really need to be there anyway, so a truck doesn't
Yeah.
take out the overhang some way, shape or form.
So we could, if the bollard idea, is comfortable with everybody, if we could get that included in the drawings, then
Is
it
it-
could become.
Is it in the drawing now?
Is that what those? No, is that what those plants or those
Which-
bollards?
So perhaps the planning bed actually does the same. I think the planning bed extends out. Yeah,
The planning bed comes right up on both sides of it.
Yeah.
Right now,
okay.
so I mean, that might be something to think about.
Altering either the curbing and planting or,
Yeah, cause there's a sidewalk. Is there a sidewalk?
Where are you thinking the
Front of it?
bollards would go?
well, let me look at the plan myself. And again, I really should make it contingent on looking at the garbage
Yeah.
truck situation, but
If you-
I mean, I would hope
if
that
this were a walkway,
we
or
could
even
not-
this.
I mean, I certainly want to make sure it's safe, but I would prefer not to write in some sort of event, sometimes there may be things that we're not thinking of that down the road may create a problem where it limits things based on the way we wrote it. So I'd hate to inadvertently do that if possible and work on some sort of physical solution now that just gets built and it's.
I'm thinking of right now, like the ice cream bar or something where like there's, I mean, the things that are delineating where the parking ends and like customer land begin, I mean, those are temporary and there's, what's even there? Like some type of.
Yeah, some little fencing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
not something that feels like if there was a permanent customer oriented business there, perhaps, I mean, if it wasn't, I mean, if it wasn't like a permanent structure, but something to require some kind of perimeter to be.
I mean, it sounds like you want the bollards to protect the structure itself from the
Well,
garbage
you-
trucks, right?
Well, trust me, if it's there, a truck will find out where it is. But no, I mean, yeah, I mean, the space itself is so small.
Yeah.
When you take the restroom out of the corner, the interior space is, you know, basically a parking spot. And
Right, yeah.
so, and I think if there was an event that was utilized for the entire parking lot, the whole idea would be to shut the parking lot down.
That space.
You would use, because you'd have a lot of space transferring from the main building into this area. And so you would just be utilizing the entire site plan for an event.
He's probably bringing a big tent at that.
But I would think the majority, of course, of this usage is simply going to be parking in the parking lot and storage, you know, situation for this small outbuilding. But maybe we should get back to you with a better drawing specifically on that piece and see how it works with the overhang, the distance from the door. And it sounds like you want to try to have a 5-foot buffer off of the building where a vehicle could not, you know, inadvertently turn sharp and run into somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking someone backing out of the ADA parking space
Yeah.
and not looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
it's tight.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
also like a blind corner effect that could be created with a vehicle pulling in and a vehicle backing out of that first space next to the building, right? Almost, it's hard to tell exactly how blind that is, or it's not a lot of space there, like
Yeah.
you said, so.
I- yeah.
Maybe these elevations could be, you know, fleshed out a little bit, you know, to that early A 1.0.
Yeah, I think just given the uncertainty, like the intentional flexibility that you want to have with the space, we have to then create some guardrails to so that if in the future it was like a little taco shack or something that was open every day,
Yeah.
that there's not.
But we can't have an ice cream shack or a coffee house or a taco shack. It's not allowed. You know, and I look at the front of the building and you see a 3-foot overhang. So it's going to have at least a 3-foot buffer already from the building structure. And so I think it's and you really want to have space for the single pane door to open without, you know, hitting anything or someone running into the door, because the doors overhang.
Yeah.
When the door is open, we'll be out there, you know, 4 feet or more. And so it does need a bollard, or it needs maybe a boulder, if it looks better, or it needs the curbing to protect, you know, at minimum, I would think, the door overhang, the main door overhang when it's up. And I think that would provide more, at minimum 5 feet. So if you wanted to possibly move forward with the mindset that we have protection of a 5-foot from the main structure, or an additional 2 feet from the overhang, with at least a bollard on the corner, on the entrance in, right, is what we're talking about. Then yeah, that would work, I think, right?
Yeah. And I agree that this concern is probably very narrow in how it could be actually expressed in reality, but I just wanted to raise it
Yeah.
as a potential.
No, it's good. And we need a bollard there. And it, you know, I thought we had one in there, actually. That's why.
Okay, well, that's good that you thought that, and.
I wasn't thinking of a person getting hit, though. I was thinking the garbage truck taking out the building. But I, you know, protect the people too. Yes, 100%.
Like I remember when, do all of you remember when somebody drove through the front of the post office?
No.
Before
Yeah,
that's-
yeah, somebody, you know, got in the car, they were in the handicapped spot, and instead of putting it in reverse, putting it forward, they drove right through the side of the building.
That was down here or?
That was
Here,
at the new one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the new one. Wow.
man, that wasn't that long.
It wasn't that long. Isn't it? I mean,
I don't remember.
Have you done a test?
Trying
to make the right moves to get into that dumpster and out properly?
I think we gave up. I mean, it's, we figured they'd figure it out after. I mean, we're down to inches really in this parking lot. It's been a very strategic situation. I mean, every inch of this property is, being enhanced in one way, shape or form. And to meet connect all the dots has been a puzzle. So.
Well, so in terms of what we do, in approving, these proposed revisions, should we put in a sort of a statement that we, understand and, support the addition of a bollard? And would that satisfy everybody?
Yes, I don't know if, do you want it to be more flexible than just a bollard, maybe it's stuff like, I don't know what you would call it, like a vehicular deterrent, or like,
Well, we were putting in, stone hitching posts for the entrance so that you could connect basically two hitching posts facing each other
Yeah.
with the rings. And so I would probably propose one of those, a third one, off the corner of the building.
I will say, for the sake of your building, you should just make sure that whatever's put there, has enough structural integrity to prevent a garbage truck from
Knocking it over into the building.
Yeah, because, like, for example, those bluestone, like hitching posts, they're beautiful and I love them.
Yeah, they're fragile.
I think they're within the character of the village, certainly, but, I don't know their strength. They might be strong enough and it might be fine. I just raise that as a point.
That's great. Thank you. I guess, to answer your question though, we definitely appreciate having the flexibility to do something that may be more in line with the fit and finish of the rest of the project.
Yeah,
I guess maybe what we'll do is I like your idea of vehicular deterrent. Because it's kind of broad, right? The idea is there that, we want to help with this potential interface between pedestrians and traffic. And if we put it into the minutes that, there will be,
bollard
Installer,
bollard or
A vehicular deterrent.
Incorporated. Revised.
Can it say, bollard or similar vehicular deterrent to protect the shed? Or do you need to say where placed?
I think the idea here is to protect, pedestrians.
Humans. Do you need to identify where placed? Or is it gonna come in the building?
Yeah, I think,
To say to protect pedestrians?
yeah, I think it can be general, and that gives enough flexibility, for you to consider alternatives.
Yeah, like some people may put, granite blocks or, you may block the whole front.
Yeah.
Perhaps if someone was going to occupy it that way.
You could say almost that, like diagonal lines drawn in a rectangle right around, it would deter most people from
yeah,
putting their vehicles,
Yeah.
driving their vehicles through there. That might not deter all of them, but
right,
that's the same kind of thing. It's
Right.
just less obtrusive.
Yeah.
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 So we'll just, we'll ask that there be, adequate, an adequate provision for, vehicular deterrents, around the building. Or I guess in front of the building, we'll call that the front, yeah. All right. Got that adequate provision,
Adequate.
yeah, okay. Anything else? Thanks, Jimmy. Okay. I don't hear much from folks about it, except that they're happy, my neighbors, my friends.
Hurry up.
are
That's what I-
saying, that, it's great that that is being improved and, anxious to see what's gonna happen. The one thing that I get asked most often now, when is it going to be done?
Yeah.
Right.
El Nino should give you a long building season into the fall and early winter.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Yeah, so as you can see, the exterior siding is going on now. And they'll be working on that until it's completed at this point. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll really see the outside come together. The water, so we have to do a sprinkler system on the interior. So we'll be shutting down the sidewalk in a couple of weeks on Union Street and we're gonna redo the old sidewalk and put in some new granite curbing. So there's a section right to Main Street where it's old concrete curbing. So we're going to redo that section in that piece of the project. The parking lot curbing, the granite curbing is going in Monday. And then we'll be finishing the parking lot. It won't be paved probably until next, opening of pavement season based on what's happening. And so we're going to, and the stonework, they're going to be moving up to the upper patio portion, now, and we're going to start working on the top. The railings, however, are quite a job. If you do want to have some input on the actual railing that will be depicted on the creek side, we're working with Cuca Studios, and you could look at the Cuca Studios website, and they have just a few railing options, but it's cable railing, black aluminum, but they have a few different versions, and the architects have selected the Cuca style railing. So I'd encourage you to check that out. And if you have any input that it's a thumbs up or thumbs down, or you like a different option there, we'd be all ears from what you have to say. But hopefully we'll get that done by the end of this, fall season here.
So that's on the creek side, walkway and deck area.
Yeah. So what has to happen is because the original stone is kind of hand laid, dry stacked. It is different widths, thicknesses, and it has been done at different times. It's a real problematic piece to anchor in railing along that long of a run with that much weight, where if you had a lot of people hanging on it, couldn't, break free from the stone, or even have the stone wall itself kind of upend on the top. And so the engineering project for that is to about 5 feet. And the rock goes back 2 or 3 feet from the surface in different widths that's laid there. So we have to get back about 5 feet off of the wall face, and we have to put in pylons under the stone. So the top of the patio might come up every 5 feet, and we'll put in pylons down and then pin steel support brackets to the face of the wall that will hold the railing. And then we cover it with stone so you don't see the pinnings back. But, it's quite a lot of weight that could be put on that based on the run that it is. So it'll be, a fun thing for you to watch as you walk by for the next month.
How's the deck part going to be supported?
The mezzanine deck part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've done engineering calcs that is cantilevered, and it's basically pinned to the inside of the building in the basement. So it's a similar project where they're going to go right down to the bedrock layer, and they're basically going to have to pin back over, and then the mezzanine is supported by the structure's weight and the concrete floor, and cantilevered over the side.
And so when will in that piece, is that going to be starting soon, or is that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We're again working with Cuca Studios that would be doing all of the railing work and the mezzanine work. And so they're in just the final, decisions on exactly engineering calcs and, ensuring that everybody's comfortable with it. And then I think that their processing, is, the last time I checked, they were about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. But with this particular project, I'd have to get an update on when they'll be available to actually do the work.
You put those pylons in, how much you have to clear out? Like, is there gonna be a lot of rubble and debris that comes out as you're putting those pylons in?
On the wall or in the basement?
I'm just trying to just like picture.
Yeah.
So they have to go about 5 feet in to put the pylons?
Yeah, no, it's 5 feet back and it's about every 5 feet on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's an 18-inch, hole, diameter of the hole. And I'm not sure exactly how deep they go with the pinning. We did the same thing up in the parking lot. So the parking lot wall, so when you pull into the back parking lot, there's a long wall that goes to the dumpster enclosure. That entire wall has steel pipe that is pinned back to the parking lot. And so it's built to be to hold back a garbage truck or an automobile from going over the side or onto the patio. And it's similar. Yeah. It won't be a lot of debris that, comes out, but
I can't even really picture exactly what has to happen down there.
well, it'd be like an 18-inch diameter hole that goes down maybe 8 feet, and filled. Yeah. And tied in. Yeah.
Any other
Yeah.
thoughts or questions for Phil? Okay, so I think what I'm looking for is a motion to approve the revisions as modified in connection with what we're calling super shed.
Is this barring any 48 hours of comments but from the public?
And if there are comments that come in, we'll reopen the public hearing and take them. And yeah.
So is this a full approval or is this a conditional approval?
Well, this is an approval, yeah, this will be pending pending potential additional comments for 2 days. And then the proviso that Jessica and I discussed about the vehicular deterrent. Right.
So whoever says this has to say, whoever makes the motion has to say on the thing.
Well,
Yeah. I'll move to approve the revisions proposed regarding the super shed. What was the other thing? It was it was just the super shed?
No, it was a super shed, there were some other small changes for the upper patio.
Other small changes for
And
the
the
patio.
Walkway, balcony,
And the walkway.
And the
mezzanine.
mezzanine, so we're calling it.
mezzanine and allowing for the conditional vehicular deterrent.
Right,
Pending public comment.
pending public comment, if any.
If any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Now, we could do this all, we could do, whereas, but
Yeah.
I think this will be sufficient.
Okay.
So any further discussion? Wait, do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay,
Yes.
there's a second. Further discussion, question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Okay.
we're set.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you, Phil.
We'll have Jessica superintend the process of getting the additional public comment, if any, and letting us know.
Okay.
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 Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, we have any old business or new business, any reports on the zoning revision?
I was absent for the last meeting, so I don't know what's happening.
All right, any other new business? All right, I think we can get a motion to adjourn then.
I move to adjourn.
I second. In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, again.
Very little dissent on this. one.
I know. We're